Hello, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Travel Talk. And today we're going to be talking about upgrades. Okay, so what are upgrades? Behind me is a Qatar Airways A350-1000, and this is what's called the QSuite. And in the middle is a quad. And that's where you have four seats together. Say if you have a family, they can all sit quote unquote together, facing each other in that center. And then on the side, they have single seats at the windows. Some seats face backwards, just FYI on here. Very good service. But to get an upgrade, it's quite difficult. So how do you get an upgrade? Many airlines have special fares that allows you to upgrade. So you can't like buy the cheapest fare and expect to be able to upgrade for little or nothing to first class. An upgrade just means you're moving from one cabin of service to another cabin of service. So you could be moving from economy class to economy plus, which gives you more legroom. You could be moving from economy plus to premium economy, which is a little nicer, have a little more recline, less seats in the cabin, and you probably get the same meal, but it's presented differently. Instead of getting a plastic cup, you may get a glass. And then there is business class, which is lay flat seats and better service, better food, better wine, maybe get a pajamas or something like that. And then there's first class, and first class is just like carte blanche. You get a special lounge for yourself. You may be driven to the car driven to the plane in a car, and you may have a special area of the airport where you board the plane. Sometimes in some places you have the jetway will go specifically to your cabin, so you can be in first class and you never see anybody else on the plane except other people in first class. So it just depends on what the categories are. Now, the upgrades for each is very different, and it'll cost a different amount. So, the cost of going from economy to economy plus, which is still an upgrade because you're actually getting more legroom and you normally just pay more. You could go, if you go from economy plus, or like Delta has something called Comfort Plus, and I think American call it main cabin extra. So everybody has a different name for it, but it's just extra legroom is typically what you get. Most people don't think about an upgrade. They think an upgrade is going from economy class to first class. Fair enough. To get an upgrade like that, you normally have to be a member of the elite status or of the airline frequent flyer program, or you have to pay for it. Either way, you have to pay. It's just that when you do the elite status upgrade, it's what's called soft dollars, because you're not literally taking money out of your pocket. You're getting it because of the money you've spent with the airline to get to that particular status, whether it be gold, whether it be silver, gold, platinum, diamond, 360, or whatever the concierge key, whatever the category is. Sometimes, depending on how you're doing the upgrades, the airlines will give you the upgrade as soon as you buy the ticket. So it depends on the price of the ticket you're buying and the status that you have. The airline will say, okay, hey, this fare is eligible for an upgrade. We have one available. Here it is. And you get a first class seat for the price you paid in economy. Other times you can get an upgrade. They have what's called bidding. So I was flying a WestJet from Houston to Calgary and then Calgary to Paris. And as soon as I booked, they gave me a thing that says, I got an email back that says, hey, would you like to bid on the upgrade? And they gave you different prices and you can bid. And you can bid on one segment. So I bid on the first segment. For the second segment, although it was like lay flat seats and all that, I couldn't justify the cost at the time. So maybe on a future flight, I will see. And then about maybe a week later, I got an email back that says, hey, your upgrade is cleared. And what they do, they charge my credit card at the same time because I'd already taken it before. The other way of doing an upgrade is when you get to the airport, you can ask, what is the cost for upgrade today? Some airlines are more proactive. They put a sign up that says $250 for the upgrade today. I think British Airways, I was on British Airways flight and they actually had that sign. So it all depends. Now, another way to get an upgrade is when you are elite, you can use points. So depending on the fare you bought, you can get, it'll tell you how many points you need to pay for this upgrade. And then what you do, you put yourself on the upgrade list. And if you get the upgrade, your upgrade is cleared, then you get the points. You can also pay for the upgrade to go. If you think there's like 2 seats available, there's 20 people on the list, I'm number 18, there is no way I'm going to get this upgrade and I want it, you just pay for it with your points or your points in cash and you're good to go. The airlines are very different when it comes to how this is done. And so every airline is different. So what you need to do is to check with the airline that you're flying to see what the deal is. Now, you see people go, oh, I'm going to get a free upgrade. It happens, but extremely rarely. There's no dressing nicely. There's none of that. You should dress nicely anyway, but that's not really going to get you an upgrade these days. You should talk to people nicely, yes, but that's not really going to get you an upgrade. However, though, if you're a frequent flyer, let's say the flight's overbooked. And overbooked just means they've sold more seats than they can accommodate the passengers. So, and they need to move people from economy class into business class so that somebody who paid for economy class can get an economy class seat. What they will do is they will look at the list and they know, the computers know, they've set it up so that it goes by your elite status, which you've explained before, and also how much you paid for your ticket. So let's say you and I are platinum and I paid $200 for my ticket and you paid $201 and they need to upgrade someone, you're going to get the upgrade before I do. We're both the same status, but you paid a little more for your ticket than I did. And so that's how that will happen. And they'll keep going down the line until, because I was just in a flight and the guy sitting next to me, I heard them call his name and I saw his name on the standby list. Because most airlines, not most, but some airlines, you can see who's on the standby list and you see your position on the standby list. And so I heard them call his name and I saw him go up and he got a ticket. It happens that he was sitting right next to me. So we were in the bulkhead row just behind first class, and he was in the middle seat. And he was like, oh my God, I have never sat in this seat before. This is so nice. And I was like, well, okay. But this was just in the bulkhead we have extra leg room. And he was thrilled, even though he was in the middle seat. But then I guess he normally flies regular economy, so he normally has no leg room. And so this is an upgrade for him. So upgrades are all relative, right? Eventually he ended up moving to the other side of the plane because our side had 3 and all 3 were full. And the other side just had 1 lady and the window was empty. And so he went over, he asked the flight attendant if he'd go, and she said yes. And the lady gave him a scowl. Like she wanted the entire row for herself. But it's a bulkhead. So you can't even, the bulkheads have these little things at the side. And so it's really difficult for you to sit. You can't stretch out, you can't lie down. So I don't know why she was upset about him sitting in that seat. And, he was a real nice guy. He's a little chatty, but he was a really nice guy. And it was just so stupid that she was just so upset about that. And so that's the other thing, right? When upgrades is relative, I don't necessarily like the bulkhead seat just for that reason, because it has a little bar thingies. But it was a window seat that was available, and it was the only one that was available on the plane, so I took it because I wanted a window seat. So it just depends on what you do. Now, why did he get an upgrade, quote unquote? Because he bought a basic economy ticket, and they didn't have any seats available in the part of the airplane that he bought, and they had to give him a seat, and the only seats that were available was in the part of the airplane that had extra leg room. And so that's how come he got the bulkhead, and he was thrilled to bits about doing that. I think he was going to Korea or something, and his flight the next day was like, I don't know, I assume it was on Korean. Maybe it was actually an American, but who knows? It just depends. But you luck out, and this happens quite a bit, and I see it happens a lot. So if you're looking for a hat to get a free upgrade, but it's a crapshoot, right? Is you buy a basic economy seat. They're gonna give you a seat when you get to the airport anyway, and your chance of getting a seat with extra legroom is pretty high if the flight is full. So if you're traveling around, holidays and stuff like that, the economy, the cheap seats are always going to be full, and your chance of getting extra legroom seats are much higher. So you have nothing to lose because you're going to have a crappy seat in the first place, and so you have nothing to lose in seeing if you can get the upgrade. But that just doesn't really work. The other way too is that if you want to upgrade, you can pay for the seat. So you can literally pay for when you book. The airlines is always going to try to upsell you. So they will always tell you that the seat you have sucks, but they say it really nicely. They put little X's against things that you don't get, and then they put little check marks about things that you do get in if you upgrade, and they'll upgrade you to like refundable, premium economy, business class, first class, and you'll see the difference in pricing, and you can determine. Sometimes it's a little weird because the cost that they're trying to get you to get the most out of it, right? But when nobody buys and you get to the airport and you're checking the upgrades at the airport, it is cheaper because now they really just want to sell it because they can't get rid of it, and they don't want it to go at empty, and they figure, well, I could sell it for a little bit. This happened to me on Qatar Airways. Well, kind of the same thing, almost. I booked the ticket and I got a thing back that said, hey, you can upgrade to QSuites for this much. And I go, well, that's cheaper than me buying a QSuite ticket. And so I went for it. However, I got no lounge access, which is really awful. And I'm like, come on. But I guess if I wanted lounge access, I have to pay another $8,000 for the fare. So I thought it was kind of mean. But I did do the upgrade, and I did fly QSuite. And once you're on the plane, you get everything that everybody else get, including pajamas, which is very cool. But when you land, you can't get into the lounge. You do get to use the QSuite check-in, which is a business class check-in, which is great. But you just don't get any lounge access. But I already have lounge access anyway, except on this particular flight, it was late night in Doha at the airport, and all the lounges are full. It was crowded, so it was horrible. So actually, I would have enjoyed having the lounge access, but it wasn't a part of the ticket. So when you get your upgrades, check and see what you're getting, because sometimes when you do the upgrades, like I think in this particular upgrade, I wouldn't have gotten a car to pick me up at my home if that was available on the route, which is kind of cool. So just check what you get for upgrades whenever you do the upgrades, because you may not get everything that you think you should be getting. So I hope this helps. Upgrades are really cool. Like I said, it's a real nice cabin. And I've flown up front on a few airlines, and I was very impressed. Some is like, yeah, man. The problem is that whenever you fly on, if you fly in the forward cabin a lot, and then you find one that's terrible, and terrible could mean they didn't heat the rolls, which if the menu says the rolls should be heated, please heat them. I get it, but it's 14 and a half hours. It only takes you like a few seconds to heat the rolls, because those heated things that you have is really high temperature, maybe longer, but it's a part of the service, right? So it's like, you're ordering something and then you don't get the full amount, and it just not right. But anyway, I'm rambling. So that's all I have for upgrades. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer your question. This is Kerwin with Travel Talk and PastorAllen.com, cruising.you.com. Have a great trip and good luck with the next upgrade.